Peace, brother. The history of South Africa, man, can never be told from textbooks. Unless you understand the people of South Africa themselves, you can never understand the history of this country. South Africa today faces one of the biggest issues. The country is going downhill. But then when we interact with the citizens, they don't know themselves. I don't care if you are white, or you call yourself colored, or you call yourself black, or you call yourself whatever you call yourself. I really don't give a damn. You probably don't really know who you are. Color has never been an important aspect of human existence before what we call the colonial era. Or rather, before these religions, Islam and Christianity. So in South Africa, man, when you think of South Africa, you will think of Cape Town, colored people, Eastern Cape, Xhosa people, KZN, Zulu people. Like, it's a normal thing nowadays to think like that. Mpumalanga, Swati people, and Ndebele people, Free State, Sotho people, Northwest, Tswana people, Northern Cape, Namakwa, Khoi, and Afrikaner people, right? Limpopo, Venda, Tsonga, and all that. Pedi. That's like a normal way. It has become normalized to think like that. As a result, when people go to the Eastern Cape, I need to speak Xhosa. Cape Town, I need to speak English, and all that. But it was never like that in this country. There was never such a thing. This is an apartheid creation and a colonial creation. In fact, South Africa itself is a colonial construct. The country of South Africa never existed until colonizers created it. The Union of South Africa, a union between the Boer Republic and the Cape Colony. So the Afrikaners wanted to be independent, and the English wanted to colonize everyone. They fought, blah, 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 and all that. They ended up forming a union, and it became South Africa as we know it today. I won't get into the history of that. I want to go back now into what was before what is. In order to understand South Africa in fullness, you have to understand the true history of the people of this country. They will tell you about some false Bantu expansion. Oh, the Bantu expansion. They came from Cameroon, shame. That's a white man who came with that theory. But then when you understand the oral history of the people, it doesn't even get anywhere near that. People will tell you, no, we came from this region. Others will tell you, no, we've always been here. Others will tell you, no, we came. And all of these usually point either to originating already having been here.
Maybe both points might be true, that some people did really come from these places and others were already here.
Absolutely. But the problem is that now there's a narrative that's being put out there that certain people belong in certain places and then don't belong in certain places. Helen Zille and many racist colored people in Cape Town and racist white people and lost and confused black people, they have this saying that, no, black people there were never black people in Cape Town. They don't come from Cape Town.
They must go away.
Hey, go away. Hey, you Bantu. Hey, Bantu. Hey, they hate what they use the word Bantu. I'm like, what is this now? Remember that guy, that colored guy who said to that Xhosa lady, if it was apartheid days, I would start with you. And yeah, remember that guy? Yeah. And you look at him, you see an Indonesian straight. You can clearly see this one is from Asia or from Sri Lanka.
He was going to be a slave as well.
That's the crazy thing. He doesn't realize. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? If it was apartheid, I would start with you. I'm like, Baba. It's the other way around. You would be cleaning this floor right now. Some people are lost. But that lady that he was talking to, do you know that it's a Khoi lady? But because she's dark, he thinks she must have come from somewhere else. She's Khoi, that girl, from the Gugu clan. Qineb. The Qineb people. People come from the Inkwa. Inkwa who were under the kingship of Yinsati. Yinsati was conquered by Gwali, the brother of King Mdange, of the Amaxhosa. Then Yinsati was conquered, and therefore all those Khoi people became Xhosa, because Xhosa is literally that. Xhosa is a federation of peoples. Being Xhosa doesn't mean you're from the Eastern Cape, man. In the 1600s already there were Xhosa people in the Cape Peninsula, in the fringes of the peninsula itself. I'm not even talking about the Cape. I'm talking the peninsula, Baba. Towards Fishhook, Simonstown. There's a book, you see, if you read Jan van Riebeeck's diary entries, he describes the people that they encountered in the region, right? He describes some groups. They had people that they called the Kapmen. They had people that they called the Koringaikona. They had people that they called the Koringaikwa. Well, they didn't know how to call them. They called them some stupid names, but these are the actual names. The Ochokwa people. They had people they called the Kanukwa. You know the Kanukwa were a Xhosa group actually. Between River Zonderend and Breda River, which is now the area such as Robertson, also Grabo, Bod River. Those people used to stay there for a significant period of time in Western Cape. But then they went as far as like Somerset West, Muizenberg area. Those were Xhosa people in the 1600s. Jan van Riebeeck heard about them. He calls them tall, dark, with long hair. He even, with this European mindset, he used to call them cannibals. Those people are not cannibals. Probably, maybe there were some who practiced it because they were, outcasts. Outcasts, they need to survive. But they were never cannibals, man. They didn't even eat pork for that matter. So the idea that if a person who's dark-skinned, it doesn't belong in Cape Town. No, Cape Town belongs to them for that matter. Let alone them belonging in Cape Town. Cape Town belongs to these people. It was never about skin color. Because if you learn the true history of this land, then you realize that we've been lied to.
But where did this history go, my brother?
It's there. No, it's there. It's just that it's not at school. If you go to UCT library and you learn about the Kham language, there were German academics who wrote about it. That's where I learned it. So you can learn the book called House of Phalo. Read that book, House of Phalo. You can read Jan van Riebeeck's diary entries. You can go online and look at the first 50 years project in Cape Town, first 50 years. So it details the events that took place in the first 50 years of the Cape Town settlement. If they're online, this is free information, man. You go to Amisa, just search Amisa people. Amisa is a tribe of the indigenous people of the Cape. Amisa. Am means water. Amatam. You do know that.
Yeah.
How could you know that if you don't have Khoi blood in you? Because that's a Khoi word, man. But you know it. But then you ask these so-called people who claim something they are not. What is Am, my brother? They don't even know what it is. So you search for Amisa people, and you will find there's a guy who does some beautiful work. I think he's a mixed race of Khoi origin, or possibly Khoi. He does a lot of beautiful work with indigenous groups of South Africa. He starts with the people in the Cape, from the days of Auchumao. Auchumao was the translator when the Dutch arrived. He was the Khoi translator. He starts with Auchumao, and he was one of the first people to be imprisoned in Robben Island, Auchumao. So this history is there, my brother. I just gave you a few sources. House of Phalo. Read the book known as History of Basotho, Modern and Ancient. It details the Barwa, which is a Bushman tribe, some of my ancestors. Read Kamisa, search on Kamisa people. Also search these names that I'm giving you. Inkwa, Inqua. Otenikwa, Esekwa, Hanukwa, Kuringaikwa, Kuringaikona, Ochokwa, Gunukwebe, Gunukwa, Kokwa, Ete, Nahwane, Gwashu. These are clans, man. I know them because these are my people. Ngosini, Ioshe. That's my great grandmother. Do you see? These are queer people. And even this whole thing of koi koi and khoisan, the word itself is false. Ah, my goodness. The word here is queer. Queer literally means muntu, and quen means bantu. So when you say queer, you're literally saying human. It's literally the same word as abantu. It's literally the same thing. Quen people and quen people. Queer as what it's what they call bushmen, and quen is what they call koi. The only difference between these people is the lifestyle. You had different lifestyles. You had people who had a sedentary life. They were farmers. They were agriculturalists. They were herders. You had people who were hunter-gatherers, the oldest of us all. These are the original. These are the queer people who taught us everything that we know. The calm people. Abatwa, as you know, we call them that. A lot of clans in the Eastern Cape are proud of this heritage. They even, when they praise themselves, Tolelom Twagas, which means child of a Khoi woman, child of a Bushman woman. You see, Tolelom Twagas. As far as Zimbabwe, man, the Ndebele people, they literally called their kingdom, they called their kingdom Mtwagas, which means the Khoi woman. So, yes, you know the Kakangu people as well, all over the Eastern Cape. My brother, I could even go to the...
I mean, there are clan names, I forgot that clan name that has Kakangu.
Your clan name!
As like...
Kamela.
Like,
yeah, even your clan name, Kamela. You see, those are not names that just came out of nowhere. Hey, Kamela, hey, sounds nice. Those were actual people who lived, man. So you need to start to understand from that perspective. So the people who were in Cape Town when Jan van Riebeeck arrived, those were not some mixed race people. Those were Africans, black people. I repeat, Africans, black people. And if you don't believe that, you are delusional. Namakwa.
Do you think many people are now mixed in South Africa?
Yes.
Due to that thing of the Western people arriving and...
man, we are mixed, man. A lot of us are mixed. A lot of us don't even know it, actually. But a lot of people are mixed in South Africa. I mean, some white people themselves have black ancestors, even in Cape Town. So let me just tell this story. So there were indigenous tribes in Cape Town. But within 38 years, man, of the settlements of the Dutch East India Company, within 38 years, at least 70% of those people were wiped away. Where did they go? Where did these people of Cape Town go if they were not in Cape Town in less than 50 years of the Dutch settlement? Where did they go? Where do you think they went, my brother?
They were killed.
Or those who survived, where did they go? Because they were not in Cape Town. What option do they have?
There's a lot of other lands in South Africa.
Exactly. They can go to the Eastern Cape, they can go to the Northern Cape, or they can go even further. And that's exactly what happened. People ran to the Eastern Cape, people ran to the Northern Cape. That's why we have Namakwa land.
Even can even go to Zimbabwe.
Exactly, because these people were all over, man. From even in the desert, in the Sahara Desert, there were queer people there. The idea that queer people are just in Cape Town is the most stupid thing I've ever heard.
They didn't only migrate because of war and chased away.
They migrated because it was the lifestyle. Yeah. It's what we did as well, man. Our ancestors' graves, you find graves somewhere. This grave is in KZN. The other grave is in Lesotho. The other grave of the king is Eastern Cape. You see, if the Dutch... the old countries, yes, they are even further north. Others are east, others are west. Because our people, they moved. That's why they didn't build, in many cases, some groups didn't build permanent structures. Even if they did build permanent structures, they would leave them behind because they followed the weather. They followed the weather conditions because they took care of their cattle. So these tribes of Cape Town, man, a lot of them left, went to the Eastern Cape to find refuge. Even now, Europeans had arrived now. But a lot also stayed in Cape Town. They got mixed with the Europeans, and now they gave birth to the first group of Afrikaners, because Afrikaners are mixed race people. Now these Afrikaners, they came with Indians, they came with Malaysians, they came with Indonesians, Sri Lankans. Hey, they even came with West Africans, man. Yeah, they came with people from Zanzibar, East Africa, people from Angola, people from the Congo. Do you know that West Africans were there in Cape Town, man? So some of the ancestors of the Cape Colored people are actually West African. Some of the ancestors of the white people who are originally from the Western Cape are actually West Africans. Yep, they definitely are. So when you do a DNA analysis, you realize, this person has Ghanaian DNA. She's colored with Nigerian DNA. Yeah, probably down the line, one of your ancestors were the free blacks of the Cape. They were called the free blacks of the Cape. You see. Now this is just a reprimand for those fools who say, who call these indigenous people refugees in Cape Town. There's no such a thing as refugees in Cape Town. How can you call the Khenebe person a refugee in the land of their ancestors? How could you call a Gwashu, a Gunukwa person, a Kamela person, a refugee in the land of their ancestors? But it is not based on facts, but it is based on hatred and jealousy. And that's how these Europeans work. They will fuel you with false information that, no, you see, those blacks, they arrived in 1831. You see, they arrived in 1830 something. We saw them coming here. They don't belong here. They're taking away your jobs. Same thing they've been doing ever since they came here. But because someone is mixed with their DNA, they want to please their masters. They'll be licking them. Master, please accept me. I hate these blacks. We are not like them. No, you're not. Absolutely not. Because history has proven we fought for ourselves to be where we are right now. So, my brother, I'm just reprimanding the fools who think there are certain groups of people who must feel bad for being in Cape Town. There is no Cape Town in South Africa, and there is no South Africa for that matter. If we really go back, the original names of these places are indigenous names. We could call Cape Town Amisa, the land of the fresh water, because Amisa means fresh water. Just like there's a freshwater river, there's also a saltwater river. The whites call it a salt river. All these rivers, man, Tsitikama. It's not Tsitikama. It's Tsitikam, which means Amatam Atsitsayu, the springing waters. Where I'm from, Esikam. And these white people, they call it Keiskama. No, it's not Keiskama, it's Esikam. Amakam Akes, which means the sweet waters. So you start to understand the names of the places, and when you realize, I understand this name, Kabecha. It's a plant that grows by the river. They call it Kabecha. It's Kabech. You see, you go to Plettenberg Bay, you find the Khamtuos River, and you realize, no, it's not Khamtuos, it's actually Kalekwa. That's the name of the place. It's Kalekwa. It's like, man, what's going on here? But when you start to read from Jan van Riebeeck, read from the first accounts, the people who were there at first hand, in many cases, those people, they didn't have a racist eye. They probably did have some preconceived ideas. I totally agree with that. But they didn't have a racist eye in the sense of post-apartheid South Africa. So when they saw those tribes, they called them exactly what they saw in them. Even the depictions, when you look at the pictures, you can see, yeah, these are actually indigenous people of this land. And they are not limited to Cape Town. They are everywhere in South Africa. Eastern Cape, you find the same people. KZN is the same people. Lesotho, same people. It's all the same people. All the way to Botswana, Angola, Tanzania, even click languages. Click languages are not unique to South Africa, man. Click languages go as far back as ancient Egypt. So this nonsense that these people are coming with, trying to make our people feel guilty for being in Cape Town. Our people should actually fill up Cape Town even more, take over that place, because that's the land of our ancestors who were chased away by the judge. Yeah, no, obviously, man. I mean, that's the whole apartheid thing. So I was just telling the history before colonization and apartheid. We'll get to a part 2 of the history of South Africa, because what happened is now, when these Europeans settled in Cape Town, it became a multicultural city. Mixed race people were started to be born. Now people started to live along the city. Places like District 6, Pinelands, Belleville, even Constantia, some of these places, they had black people, man. The original citizens of those places, Sea Point, they were black people. But then, there's this place, Gordon's Bay. There were black people in those places. By black, I mean indigenous South Africans. Whether you call them Kwe, you call them Kwekwena, you call them Osa, you call them, it doesn't matter. But then they were removed systematically. I think we can leave it here for now. We will need at least 2 hours for one segment on this issue. Peace.